Good evening, homies. Steve Jackson, broadcasting live from the Vape Dungeon. Again, if you don't recognize the intro, join A Call to Ohms, O-H-M-S, on Facebook, and you'll see what that's all about. Tonight, I'm kind of in the mood to do something a little bit whimsical. I want to do a build. I haven't done a build video in a while. So, what do we have to play with here? We have Sparkle's Little Wonder. This thing is kind of fallen out of fashion a little bit. The Bullet. Oh my goodness. I'll tell you what I don't like about the Bullet. What I'm learning to not like about anything, really. This is like a guide to everything Steve hates in an RDA base. It has a super stupid shallow pan. It has nice big holes in it. It has Phillips head screws. But it does not have a T-post. The best thing that I can think of to do with something like this is probably some kind of a vertical build. And I'm going to try something a little bit different tonight. I'm in the mood to build fancy. So I'm going to go wrap a coil or two. And I'll be back. But before I jump straight to the wrapping, let's see what I got to work with. 24 gauge Canthol, and this is something really cool. This little tiny spool of wire here, there's no way to really zoom in on it, but it is UD wire. I've been playing with UD wire lately quite a lot. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it says 28 gauge times 2 ribbon times 5M twisted Canthol 3 wires. Well, that is pretty interesting stuff. Let's see what happens if we use them both together. Could be cool. Probably going to require pictures to be able to see it. Let's have a look at what 10 wraps of that is. That's kind of cool. You guys see a coiler here. Don't panic. I'm not sissying out and using a coiler. I like a coiler for one reason. It's because all of my knuckles on both hands have been broken because I used to be a dumbass. I use the coiler simply because of this. It holds the wire still on one side. I never use the top cap on a coiler because, in my experience, they produce incredibly inconsistent coils. But that is just with my hands. Other people make coils they don't even have to pinch with them. For me, it was just never a thing. So I'm going to mount this and see what we got for resistance, because I'm sure there's a calculator somewhere that could tell me, but really, let's find out. Alright, this is all in good fun, so I'm not concentrating too hard on it. I'm showing a 0.47 here. Still got my leads hanging out the other side, but it is heating reasonably well. Got a little bit of foolishness going on around the base. I don't know if you can see it. You know what? I think I'm just going to leave it there. Let's make another one. You guys want to see something funky? Look at this mess! Oh my god, how's it all ever gonna fit in there? What will we do? Oh, don't you worry. Most of the key of getting something stupid like this to fit has to do with playing along with what the wire wants. I have several different tools for doing that. I have the original coiler that can be used to keep these coils straight, keep them moving. Yeah, it's nothing that Rip Trippers hasn't said before. But when you're dealing with two sets of coils that are wrapped around each other, it gets a wee bit trickier. The other thing is always make sure that your extra lead is pulled off to the side. These are easy to see. The ones on the inside are a little bit harder to see. But if they're not pulled off the side, there's nothing you can really do with them to get rid of them later. So, pretty excited about where this build's headed. I'm liking that number. Be right back. Alright guys, we're back for a minute. Alright, this disastrous looking little build does the cool thing that builds with mixed wires do, and it gives you that interesting little stripe in there. But I built this not really to demonstrate a build so much as to demonstrate a principle. These are ridiculously ugly coils. I have not spent a lot of time working on these, but it's great practice to get things to fit, obviously, where things just shouldn't fit, you know? A lot of manual manipulation involved in doing this. The point is it pretty? No, hell no. Is that something to enter competition with? Not even close. But it's practice. It's a throw together, and involved in this throw together, if you stay at it and you don't just look at it and say, oh, that's terrible, and tear it down and start over, well, you can find something very interesting. Be right back. Here we are with a little bit of cotton. I'll beat up a little of this vape on here. I basically screwed the cotton down into these monstrous, messed up looking coils. There is a point coming, by the way. The point, I'll get to in a minute, it's not really a point so much for master coil builders. It is a point for the interested novice. But it's a very important point. And it's something that even a master coil builder really does need to know. So, I'm not even going to pause the video. This is almost juicy. I'm just going to slam the cap on it, hoping, of course, that the cap will fit. And we're going to see if this vapes. And then I'm going to tell you the moral of the story of this ugly-ass build. Ha! The ugly-ass build vapes. Here's the moral story. This is important, too. A lot of people in vaping, they get good at things. Some of them get good at checking clouds. Some of them get really good at pretty builds. And they make such a big deal out of it that it's almost as if they don't want anybody else to get good at it, too. Now, I've seen some builds that were absolute works of art. I saw one recently that was just so intricate and beautifully layered, had several different planes and curves to it. I mean, it was truly just a work of art. It must have taken hours to do. But that person that did that build, there was a time when they did really good to get like a 22 gauge 5 rep down. I promise you, there was a time that was their first time. So my point is, no matter what your aspiration, no matter what you're trying to get good at, I ran into somebody the other day, you know, I brought up the idea, well, let's have a building competition, a coil porn competition. Let's see who can get the most photogenic coil going. And I am going to award prizes to, like, the top 10. Because, I mean, how do you choose, you know? We're going to let Facebook likes determine it. And I want to put together some nice collages of the building process. This thing can totally take more than 80 watts. I don't know if the batteries can dish it out. Let's try 5.1 volts, 96 watts. Hell, I'm on a Sigelli, 32% battery, so I can do 111 watts. Oh, and the battery gave out. So I'm not going to get 111 watts out of it. It looks like I overjuiced so slightly. But my point is this, don't be discouraged. If this interests you, do it. Do it many times. Many, many times. Make many mistakes. Your mistakes? This is a mistake. This coil is horrible. It overlaps on the bottom. It's just janky looking, really. But it chucks. I mean, it's not like I'd be afraid to vape this all day tomorrow. Look at the short pull. Plenty of vapor going on there. Get out there and give it a try. Alright? Don't be discouraged just because somebody else is really good at it. You could be the next big thing. Okay, you won't be the next big thing by building coils. But you could be somebody that's really good at it, that really enjoys it. And if you missed out on that experience, it'd be a loss for you. Don't let somebody else determine that loss. When that person told me that they didn't think that they could ever be as good as other people, it just kind of broke my heart that they wouldn't know what it was like to do this because they didn't feel like they ought to try. And it's bothered me all week long. So there you go, guys. It's more of a philosophical video than an instructional video, obviously. But I hope you take something away from it. Have a great night.